Okay, so now we're almost there. In this PowerPoint video, we're going to go through lessons 9 and 10. Okay, so we're going to wrap up everything in today's lesson. The objectives of lesson 9, other composition guidelines are: you'll learn about additional rules of composition that make interesting photos. And you'll also learn not to be afraid to get in close or move to another spot to get you the image that you want. Okay, so if your pictures aren't good enough, you're not close enough. And that's from Robert Capa, a war photographer, which is interesting because I just recently saw the new movie 1917, which was considered to be one of the better movies about World War I ever. At any rate, here we go. In basic terms, composition describes how the elements are arranged in an image. In addition to following the rule of thirds, photography instructors often give advice to improve the composition of a photograph, such as move up close and fill the frame, try different angles, get up high or down low, watch the background to avoid distracting objects. So in addition to that advice, there are at least 4 concrete composition techniques that can serve you well. First is framing, a composition technique in which the center of visual interest in a photo is framed by objects in the foreground that are usually out of focus. So framing lends depth. Second, repetition of shapes. Technique that uses repetition of elements or a break in the repetition to grab the viewer's attention. S-curves. This is a technique that uses elements in a photo shaped in curves to grab the viewer's attention. Then there's leading lines, and this is a technique that uses the lines in one part of a photograph to lead the viewer into another part of the image. So now we're at the activities, and let's see what this one involves. Okay, so this involves finding a photograph that involves each of the techniques that we just talked about. Framing, a repetition of shapes, S-curves, and leading lines. Okay, so you could print out one of those or just label it. Okay, so that might be a possible idea for an assignment. Okay, so we can't really get any more academic shots at this point, so we're going to skip through this activity. Now, lesson 10, the assignment. Here are the objectives. You'll learn how to work on a team for story coverage. You'll learn how to work on an assignment so you return with usable photos. And you'll learn that the photographer's job includes tasks before and after photos are taken. Quote, the photograph isolates and perpetuates a moment of time, an important and revealing moment, or an unimportant and meaningless one, depending upon the photographer's understanding of his subject and mastery of his process. That's from Edward Weston, photographer, 1886 through 1958. For a photographer, an assignment is more than go take pictures of the water polo team practice. With such assignments, many beginning photojournalists will show up for a few minutes, take a few snapshots, and then be gone. Instead, this is the ideal world. The ideal world, that does not mean the world as it is now. That means what it would be like if. So instead, in an ideal world, an assignment should include a talk between the editor, the photographer, the reporter writing the story, and perhaps even the page designer. There should be a written version of the assignment that includes the names and contact info for any person the photographer needs to meet or photograph. Okay, so again, this is all perfect world situations. Time and location if the photographer is documenting a specific event with directions to any off-campus facility. Any angles that the photographer might cover, such as star player, coach, bench, or any necessary behind-the-scenes coverage. The more specific the assignment is, the more likely it is that you will return with images that will adequately cover the topic as the team planned. Okay, So again, that's all in a perfect or ideal world. Okay, so for yearbook class, aka publications class, many of you will and have been going to different outings, events, whether they be sporting events or other academic related events, and taking pictures. Okay, so just remember to be conscientious, and respectful. Okay. The main takeaway from this slide, the assignment, is accepting an assignment as a contract between the publication and you. Okay. You should also have all of your photo equipment with you, digital memory cards, batteries charged, notebook and pen if necessary. Okay. Don't have don't don't not have a backup plan. Always have a backup plan in case you go to an event and for some reason the camera is dead or the camera won't work. Make sure that you take photos with your cell phone, for example. Have some kind of backup plan. Okay. So editing an assignment is a team effort, and photojournalists, like writers, need editors and need to learn from their experiences. But you guys will do fine. Okay, I'll let you look through some of these bullet points, but these are good to start thinking about. Any kind of captions that you would like to put on there, especially how to back up images, how to copy photos onto the yearbook software or onto the cloud, etc. All good things to know. Okay. So this is just about discussing different photographers. I don't think that will do that. Okay. So this means just planning out your process a little bit. So this could be interesting.